What's going on, guys? Kulprit here, and today I want to do a little bit of a commentary. For those who don't know, I took part in the Symthic vs. YouTubers event today. Basically, a group of 32 YouTubers were grouped up on a team, took on the competitive team from Symthic.com. For those who don't know, Symthic.com is a very good website that deals with battlefield math, I guess you'd say, all the gun statistics, these things, kind of battlefield techies and nerds. In a good way, though. I use the website all the time, love the website. Wasn't even aware they had a competitive team, so this was an introduction to that for me, and I think for a lot of other people, which is good for them. It was hosted or streamed on LevelBF. It was casted by Daskro. I know Scanner Barkley was on there a little bit, so I'm just kind of catching up on that. I didn't have a chance to watch that, obviously, as I was playing. I told some of you guys that, you know, I was going to do a reactionary vlog immediately following the event, and that I would post some of the footage right up. Well, I did do that vlog, and then, you know, I waited an hour. I had to kind of take care of my son and do some stuff. Then I went back and listened to it and watched it again. It was terrible. Basically, all I did is I belted on dice and the instability of the game right now, and the glitches and bugs and things. And it was just me slamming on dice for about 5, 6, 7 minutes, and that's not the route I wanted to go. So I scrapped that. Obviously, now I am Sunday night. I'm going to probably be posting things on Tuesday. I'm not exactly sure just yet, but it's Sunday night. It's still the day of the event, so it's still pretty raw, pretty reactionary, but a little bit of a cooler head. Emotions have subsided. Not that they were that crazy to begin with, but I'm going to try to look at it from more of an analytic and a commentary type of thing, and kind of how I hope to grow from this and move on, and talk a little bit about challenging yourself and playing above your level, playing over your head, as the title suggests, and why it's a good thing. And so, as you can tell, you know, from, well, let me just explain. We got rolled. You know, I think anybody that knew kind of going in kind of expected it. I mean, we were 32 individuals. I was in a squad myself with Inception, who I know, and I have played with him a very little bit here and there. Was it Floppy Ragdoll, Assault, Mr. Assault, who the heck, Thready, and I'm forgetting somebody. I know I'm forgetting. It's gonna be weird when I do remember it. But, you know, guys I didn't even know. I had never met before, just in a squad with them. I think I'm probably forgetting myself in that squad. But anyway, you know, so I didn't even know these guys in my squad, let alone the larger team. And that was kind of universal for everybody. And we weren't coordinated. And we had some of the big names, like I said, Thready, and these guys who were personally talented, like incredibly talented individuals, and are known for their game, their you know, the prowess in Battlefield. But there was no coordination. There was no teamwork, really. We tried, you know, but, you know, as an event was just put together, we were just trying to do as best we could. Whereas Symthic, on the other hand, I mean, I'm not even going to speak to their talent, because I'm sure they're incredibly talented gamers, but I just don't know. I don't have enough experience. I'm just going to kind of ignore that even for a minute. They're incredibly coordinated. They've been a competitive team for about a year now. They've played in matches. And like I said, they're kind of very analytical, and again, I'm going to use the nerd word. That's not the right word I want to use, but for lack of a better term, again, in a good way, they're very, you know, in-depth in Battlefield 3 and now Battlefield 4, much like I am. Like, that's how I like to go into the nuts and bolts of the game, and they very much are too. So they had coordination and they had skill, and you know, like I said, I didn't think it was any surprise that we got beat. I did feel like the first match we had a shot. I thought we played them pretty well for a while, and they were always on the burn. But then it just kind of fell out. I don't exactly know what happened, and that's why I'm kind of doubting I'm going to post the footage. There's really nothing to see, unfortunately, on my end. We were tasked with a kind of defensive responsibility at our squad, which is fine. Give me a task, I'm going to carry it out. That's part of being in a competitive environment, part of being a larger team. So in essence, what we ended up doing is defending our gimmies. So I wasn't on the front lines at all. And even there, like, I even got the boring role of the boring role, because I ended up, like, suiciding and coming back in as support so that I could keep the guys, my engineers, in my squad, because we were basically on flood zone holding down A, which, if you're not familiar, is the big parking garage, basically. And we were basically trying to assist with taking down some air, taking down boats, rockets, stingers, that stuff. So I had to come in there as support and just drop ammo packs at people's feet. That's what it takes. That's what you got to do in a competitive and team environment like that. So my gameplay is really nothing to watch. I mean, I felt like, you know, I said it to the guys on Twitter, I felt like those guys that watch the stream have a better idea what happened in the match than I did. But that's not a complaint. I knew that going in. I have no problem doing the dirty work. Somebody's got to do it. And like I said, knowing myself and my skill set right now in Battlefield 4, I was actually happy with that. I had no problem with that. We did get some action. Eventually, they started storming the castle, so to speak, and it was fine. I had a good time. But, you know, and I'm going to segue out of the actual event. long story short, the server crashed a ton. The game glitched out. I think the whole first match you weren't able to revive. It's just a mess, and the game right now is a mess, and it's starting to get really embarrassing. I've been a defender of the game. I don't defend dice. Once you're a business and you're collecting money for your product, you don't deserve to be defended. You have to answer your criticisms. But I defend the game because I love the game and it's enjoyable and having a good time. But at this point now, it's getting a little crazy now. Let's see some progress here. But so it was very frustrating. We ended up kind of calling the event short, not only because of all the issues, but because we were getting rolled. And I want to be clear here. I'm not saying the server issues and game issue bugs are the reason we lost. We were outclassed. They were a better team. Hats off to them. GG, all those things. That's it. We would have probably lost anyway. I felt like we could have been more competitive, certainly, especially given more time. But, hey, maybe another day. But I wanted to segue that in kind of where I'm going to go with this. And, basically, I had rough rounds. The first round I was okay, again, even in the defensive mode. Second round, we flipped and we defended from the other side. Again, same kind of thing. I think I went at the end of it. It's hard to know what I did because I crashed 2 or 3 times each match. So at the end, you'd see your score, and that wasn't your full round score, you know what I mean? But if I had a .25 KD in some of these matches, that's probably about right, where I'd be like 5-20, because that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to stand there and take down a chopper or what have you. But it was just clear that I couldn't hang with these guys, Yes, the whole hit notification in Battlefield 4 is terrible, but I don't know if that was the problem. I think they were just dropping me that quick, and I was struggling. I was struggling with that, and where I am in Battlefield 4 is not where I want to be. And then it really got exemplified in the obliteration match we played on Paracel Storm. It was chaos. At that point, I think a lot of the YouTube team kind of started trolling a little bit, as from what I've gathered with the little drones and things, and that's fine at that point. It was doing no harm. I think we knew what the outcome was going to be at that point. And I think even some of the Symthic guys were too. I saw a lot of guys like running guns with naked guns and things. So it was clear that tryhard switch had been turned off. But I was still having a hard time, and I was getting outplayed consistently. Now, this doesn't really bother me. Like, it doesn't upset me, I should say. But it bothers me. Like, I'm a competitive guy. I'm a determined guy. I'm a grinder, as I've said a lot of times. So, sometimes it can hurt your confidence, and it can hurt your self-esteem, I guess, so to speak. But mostly your confidence. Like, what am I doing? And sometimes being a YouTuber, it can make you feel a little bit like a fraud. Here I am, I post these gameplays, and I try to talk about the game and give advice and suggestions and talk, and then what the hell do I really know? So that's why I always do kind of try to disclaim a lot of my videos and do them in a way that's like, I'm trying to get better. Maybe you can get better with me, kind of thing, instead of like preaching or lecturing people, because I don't think I have the pulpit to do that. And certainly in this event, I felt that tenfold. I was outclassed by the enemy. I was looking at some of my teammates where I was struggling, and then I would look over and somebody's like got a 2 KD on my squad. I'm like, wow, awesome, man. I don't know what game you're playing, because right now I'm getting my ass handed to me, and I can't even move, And I have no excuse. I had like one of the best pings in the thing. It was crazy. But, like I said, it can hurt your confidence. It can, make you kind of, I don't want to say depressed, that's the wrong word. But, like, man, I don't want to play right now. I don't want to play anymore. But don't let it do that to you. Because for me right now, I want to jump in and play. I want to play. I want to grind. I want to get at it. I want to get better. And I think my biggest thing right now, the thing that upsets me, is I don't have the time to do it. Like, I know I need to get in. Like, right now, my map awareness is very bad. I haven't been playing that much Conquest and Obliteration, these types of things, because of all the crashes. I was avoiding them, and so it's clear to me I need to play more, become more aware on these maps. That these guys have many more hours than I do in Battlefield 4, especially in those game modes. That was a big detriment to my game. But even areas that I did know, gunplay just wasn't there, and I need to work on that. Clearly, my accuracy, I need to get my twitch skill and my accuracy up. I'm trying right now to figure out ways to practice this. So if you guys have suggestions like, hey, go in firing range and work on your recoil compensation, that kind of thing, or twitch skills, the only thing I can really think of is just play. Just play and play and play, and that's what I want to do. But unfortunately, as you guys know, life pulls me in many different directions. I don't get to play as much as I want to, but that's neither here nor there. It's you got to do what you got to do. But I'm using this as a motivational thing, and I'm definitely going to try to play more and work on things specifically and get better at the game. I'm never going to be a competitive guy. I've said that. I'm incredibly interested in esports and competitive, but it's never going to be me. Unless they're going to take on a commander role, maybe, or something like that. But it's something I do want to watch and study and see how these guys, like, just watch how they move. You know, it was so many times, like, I would always be kind of the last man standing, because I was kind of the anchor role, like, let the guys go up and attack, and then I would be the guy playing it safe, turtling up, trying to stay alive and give those guys a spawn point. And I would be the last guy. I would get run over, you know. And then I would watch my kill cam, and I'd see 5 guys in tight formation, just running down. And I'm visually thinking of the shanty town on the flood zone, and it's impressive to see 4 or 5 guys, balanced squad, rolling through flood zone and just shooting in every direction. I mean, it's like a movie, and it's really, really cool. And I'd like to get there some day. And maybe not to that level, but and maybe my Twitch skills will never be there. But you know what? I've got friends that are good, and we can learn to team play and squad play like that. And that's what I aspire for Battlefield 4, and that's what I'd like to get to a year or two from now, and maybe be making videos to that orientation. And I have some ideas that I've been working on already for this, but you just guys haven't seen it yet. So I'm going to work on that. I'm going to try to get there, more tactical squad up kind of things. Should be a lot of fun. And again, I'm going to keep working on my game, and that's how I'm going to apply this. And I'm going to turn this kind of frustration and kind of disappointment, I guess is a fair word, and turn it into a good thing and motivation, and you know, kind of brush it off my confidence. There's nothing wrong with losing to someone that's better than you, and they clearly were. But you know, next time if we do it again, I want to be a little better. We'll be a little more formidable of an opponent, give him a little bit more of a run. But I had a good time with all the frustrations between just the play and getting beat. It's always tough to get beat. Swallow your pride a little bit. But mostly it was the issues, the servers crashing, the glitches. You know, that's the biggest frustration. As we try to do this big community event. Hats off to those that organized it, Snoov and the rest of the team. You did a great job, especially the presentation, the production. If you don't go to twitch.tv/LevelBF and watch the production, you know, it's casted by Dascro and a couple other guys. Really cool stuff. And I hope it's just the tip of the iceberg for Battlefield 4 and competitive. Even though this wasn't very competitive, it was still a cool event. And it was a very cool event for the community. And I had fun. I'm pretty sure the Symthic guys had fun. And I hope people watching it had fun. There was a lot of people on the stream. They gave some cool stuff away. It's just a cool start to Battlefield 4. And it's nice to see people willing to do their part, and we just got to hope that DICE is going to do their part and kind of follow through and support this game and get it to a place where it can be a balanced, competitive environment, because right now it's really not. Not that it's imbalanced either way. There's too much luck. There's too much, you know, who gets the least amount of glitches and crashes and that type of thing going on. For, you know, luckily, like I said, it was us against them. I think everybody knew they were going to win. If you have 2 well-balanced teams that are tight and it's anybody's game, you want it to be decided by pulls of the trigger and flying the helicopter. Those things. You don't want to be, you know, decided by who's fastest getting through the queue. You know, that because they crash. So DICE has got to get their act together. I got to get my act together, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to put as much time into it as I can. And like I said, I'm going to look for you guys' help, you guys' suggestions, feedback. As you know, it's kind of how I've been running my channel for a while now, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to sinking my teeth into it. And hopefully I can watch this video maybe a year from now and just like, man, I've really come a long way. So with all that said, guys, thanks so much for your support. I appreciate it. I hope you guys watched the stream and had a good time. I may or may not post that footage up. I might just post it up, say, like, unlisted, and maybe put the links on my Facebook page or something like that, or I'll put them in the description of this video when I do put them up when I get a chance. For those that really are kind of interested, because I have a feeling there might be a couple of you, but really they're terrible. They're 15, 20-minute gameplays, and there might be 3 minutes of exciting me actually shooting my gun. I don't know. But if you're interested, maybe I'll do that. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do that. I'll do that in some form, and this way you could watch it if it so interests you. Other than that, guys, thanks so much. I hope you had a good weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Take care, guys.